Las Vegas has a reputation for never slowing down. Neon hums through the night, music bleeds from every open doorway, and time feels elastic, stretching long past midnight and snapping back with the sunrise. But on this particular evening, just outside the heavy wooden doors of Taco Madera, the city seemed to pause. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce stepped into the night hand in hand, and for a brief moment, the chaos softened. Camera flashes erupted, phones rose into the air, and a crowd that had been buzzing with anticipation finally exhaled. This wasn't just another celebrity sighting in Vegas. It felt like a moment, one that carried the glow of a season ending, a chapter closing, and something new beginning. Fresh off Kelce's final game of the NFL season at Allegiant Stadium, the couple had decided not to rush out of town. Instead of boarding a late-night flight, they stayed one extra night in Las Vegas, lingering in the city before what friends have quietly described as the start of an extended honeymoon era. Whether or not that label sticks, the energy surrounding them suggested a deliberate pause, a breath taken together after months of stadium lights, tour schedules, and constant scrutiny. If this was the soft launch of a new chapter, it arrived wrapped in velvet, punctuated by flashbulbs, and carried on the hum of admiration from everyone watching. Taylor Swift leaned fully into old Hollywood glamour with a Vegas edge. She wore a black velvet jumpsuit that looked as though it had been designed with her proportions in mind. The fabric hugged her waist before flowing into wide legs that created the long, statuesque line she often favors on red carpets. The drama lived in the details. Shimmering silver lapels and metallic trim traced clean lines down the sides of the jumpsuit, catching every glint of light as she moved. The cuffs echoed the same silver sparkle, giving the outfit a tuxedo-inspired finish, sharp, feminine, and just playful enough to feel intentional rather than severe. Her styling was classic and restrained. A bold red lip anchored the look, while her hair was pulled back into soft, polished waves. Jewelry was minimal, allowing the texture and tailoring of the jumpsuit to do the work. The message was unmistakable. This was a date night look, thoughtfully chosen, confidently worn. Kelce matched her without competing for attention. He wore a black velvet suit of his own, skipping the tie in favor of a black crewneck shirt that kept the look sleek and relaxed. The midnight palette allowed his jewelry a subtle chain, a watch to stand out just enough without drawing focus away from Swift. Together, they looked almost comically coordinated, like a couple who had accidentally nailed the same Pinterest board. Matching black velvet. Equal parts power couple and off-duty newlyweds. Rendered in couture. Outside Taco Madera, the restaurant's moody desert chic atmosphere collided with the frenzy of a crowd that had gathered for a glimpse. The carved wooden doors opened, and suddenly the sidewalk transformed into a spectacle. Fans pressed against ropes. Bartenders stepped outside mid-shift. Diners leaving neighboring restaurants slowed to a crawl, phones already recording. The air buzzed with that uniquely Vegas blend of heat, noise, and unreality. As they moved forward, Kelce never let go of Swift's hand. He kept her tucked slightly into his side, guiding her through the chaos with the same instinctive awareness he's used for years on the football field. Swift looked entirely at ease, smiling brightly and offering a friendly wave with her free hand. Security hovered nearby, but the mood was celebratory rather than tense. People shouted congratulations. Someone yelled a song title. Another called out Kelce's jersey number. A particularly clever fan tried to mash the two worlds together, yelling, "Travis, run a route to love story." The line earned a quick laugh from both of them, a moment of shared humor amid months of being dissected at every game, every concert, every public appearance. Despite the noise, they seemed to move within a small, protected bubble. Each time the crowd pressed in or a photographer edged too close, Kelce subtly shifted position, placing himself between Swift and the intrusion before easing back to her side once space opened again. At one point, Swift leaned in to say something that made him crack up completely, his shoulders dropping, his grin lighting up. Their joined hands swung naturally between them, an easy, almost domestic rhythm that felt unforced and deeply familiar. Inside Taco Madera, the chemistry reportedly didn't fade. Seated at a corner table lit by soft candlelight, with a clear view of the open kitchen, the two lingered long after the dinner rush thinned out. They shared plates and cocktails, leaning in close, laughing often. One diner described it simply: lots of leaning, lots of laughing. He listens with his whole face, and she never once checked her phone. Another added, "It definitely had honeymoon energy." The restaurant's ambience played its part. Low amber lighting, flickering candles, rich wood accents, a steady hum of conversation that never quite tipped into chaos. It was the perfect setting for two people coming down from the emotional high of a season finale and the adrenaline of a stadium farewell. Staff described the table as relaxed but openly affectionate. There were quiet toasts, the soft clink of glasses, and moments that felt unguarded. Swift rested her hand on Kelce's arm while he talked, her thumb tracing absent circles along his sleeve. When the music swelled, he leaned closer to make sure he caught every word she said. Hours earlier, the tone had been very different. Minutes after the final whistle at Allegiant Stadium, Kelce sat in the visiting locker room, pulling an olive green sweater over his head. Cameras trailed his every move, standard procedure for a tight end whose career now lives at the intersection of sports, celebrity, and speculation. The Kansas City Chiefs had just lost 14-12 on a last-minute field goal, closing out a 6-11 season that didn't match the franchise's recent dominance. Kelce unclasped a gold necklace. Then another. Then a third. The locker room buzzed around him, but for a moment, he sat alone. Then Chris Ladderkin, the third-string quarterback, approached and extended his hand. "Man," Ladderkin said, "thank you." Kelce nodded. Quiet. Not long after, Chris Jones, his teammate for more than a decade, walked over. "Thank you for everything," the defensive lineman said. The two laughed, the kind of laugh that carries years of shared understanding. "This guy, man," Kelce said, his tone suggesting an eye roll only teammates could hear. One by one, players came through what felt like a receiving line. Linebacker Cole Christensen stopped next. "Whatever happens," Christensen said, "it's been an honor playing with you." "You know it, man," Kelce replied. "Wish we could have gotten that dub for you." "For you," Christensen shot back, smiling. Christensen had been named a captain for the first time that week, a decision announced by head coach Andy Reid that left him stunned and proud. Kelce spent the rest of the week calling him Cap, making sure the moment landed. For Christensen, a practice squad player for most of the year, the gesture meant everything. "Someone of his status could stay in his own world," Christensen later said. "But he goes around the room reminding you he's glad you're here." That has always been Kelce's quiet legacy. Beyond the numbers. Beyond the championships. He builds rooms. He pulls people in. Sunday was filled with those moments. Teammates stopped by not because they knew something, but because no one knew what was coming next. Owner Clark Hunt passed through. Even Kevin Richardson of the Backstreet Boys appeared, flanked by his sons. No, really, when asked about retirement, Kelce was honest. "Who knows?" he said. "Either a decision hits me quick, or I gotta take some time. Last year I knew right away. This time, we'll see." He spoke for just a few minutes. Then he stood. "All right, I'll give you guys a few," he said, stepping away. For the first time, he truly didn't know. At 36, Kelce had just completed one of the most impressive seasons ever by a tight end his age. He surpassed 13,000 career receiving yards. His yards per catch, nearly 6 per reception, outpaced his career average and nearly doubled last year's mark. After an off-season focused on conditioning, he didn't fade. He rebounded. "The ball just didn't go our way in a lot of games," he said. "If I do come back, I've got to make sure I'm available for those moments." The 1,000-yard seasons may be gone, but consistency has defined his career. At least 800 yards in every season except his injury-shortened rookie year. If this is the end, the stats and championships will tell one story. His teammates will remember another. They'll remember him sprinting through what was supposed to be a walkthrough. They'll remember him alone on a side field at a Super Bowl practice, running every route. They'll remember him calling a linebacker with one tackle all season cap like it mattered, because it did. Those moments give a locker room its identity. And later that night, in a city built on spectacle, Kelce walked hand in hand with Taylor Swift through flashing lights and cheers, carrying all of that with him, past, present, and whatever comes next, while the city watched, and for a moment, stood still.